Good morning, everyone. Today, I want you to imagine a world where our empathy is scarce, our critical thinking is fading, and our capacity to understand human experiences is limited. Well, I don't think you need to go too far to imagine a world like that. Unfortunately, we are already living in that reality. And I believe that this is happening because one of the most powerful tools we have to understand humans is not being used, which is literature. So today I want to persuade you to read more books, to understand that literature is not only a means to entertainment, but also a powerful tool to understand each other, to understand your emotions, and to be more critical and have more empathy and have a bigger worldview. So, first, we need to understand what literature is. According to the Oxford English Dictionary, right, literature is writing works, especially those considered of superior or lasting artistic merit. But to me, that's not all what literature is. And not just to me, but also to Dr. Keith Oldley. So he's a professor of cognitive psychology at the University of Toronto, and he said that reading fiction stimulates a kind of social experience, improving our ability to understand others and to navigate complex feelings. As an example, we have Philip Benson's novel Lie With Me. In this novel, Philip is going to show through his words what he experienced as a homosexual boy in a decade where this kind of relationship wasn't accepted by society. And through his words, we are going to experience all of those feelings as well. We are going to go through homophobia, injustice, and compassion together with him. Now, when it comes to how literature improves our critical thinking and our language skills, we have a study made and published by the Journal of Research and Reading. This research was made in 2016 and it is still very true through this day, which they confirm that students who reads literature and fiction have a higher score in critical thinking tasks compared to those students that don't read or read popular fiction or nonfiction books. And then we have Dr. Wolf, who is a cognitive neuropsychologist at UCLA, and she says that literature requires slow reading, and because of that, we enrich our comprehension and analytical thinking. As an example, we can talk about history and politics with The Hunger Games. When we are reading this book, we are able to see a political world being created in front of us. We are going through all of the emotion the characters are going through, and we can see the political world, that political environment being built in every word on this book. So we can have our own analysis of what we think about it. We can understand by our own what it means to be in their reality, because we are not being presented a story like in a movie. We are reading and experiencing all of those feelings, but not as we have when we watch a movie. Because when we watch a movie, all of those things are being presented to us so fast and everything is already on the screen. You don't have to imagine, you don't have to use your critical thinking to understand each situation. Everything is played out for you to understand fast, because the timing is very important and you need to leave the movie theater understanding that story. However, when you're reading a book, you spend weeks or even months and engaging with those characters and being present with that narrative. So at the end, you will have a lot more of brain activity and you will exercise your critical thinking a lot more. So next, we're going to talk about how literature connects us across cultures and time. Literature is not bound to geography or to time, but it's kind of like a bridge between cultures, because we can read books that were written in different contexts, in different moments in history, or even in different places, such as Italy or any other country. As an example, we have Elena Ferrante, My Brilliant Friend. This book is in a story that is being written in a period where I wasn't even alive, which was pre-World War II in Italy. So I can travel to that period in time and understand all the things that those characters were thinking about that moment in history. Also, we have Octavia Butler. Her book, Kindred, will talk about slavery in America in a period that is old and we wouldn't able to experience firsthand. But through her words, we can see a hint of what that meant for the people living in that period. So the American Library Association defines multicultural literature as works that reflects diverse experiences, voices, and traditions. When we read Elena Ferrante or Kindred by Octavia Butler, we are able to travel and experience that even though we were not there. Now, Dr. Azer Nafizi, who's the author of Reading Lolita in Tehran, he said that books are the best way to imagine lives we never experienced, we never lived. They allow us to cross boundaries without leaving our chairs. And to me, that is the most beautiful thing about books, is the fact that you can travel and you can experience lives that you would never have experienced before, but because of the books, now you can. So a lot of people can say that you can get all of these from social media or from movies. However, even though you can in a way get the same results, it won't be on the same level, because when you're reading a book, all of those things are so amplified, and when you see a video on social media, it's so fast paced and there is so much content, you are not able to fully digest what you learn and fully digest what you're seeing in a movie screen, for example. But in a book, you spend a week, months with that story, and for that reason, you can. So a study from Emerald University from fMRI scans shows that reading novels enhances cognitive in the brain's language and sensory regions, affects the last even after you stop reading. And now, what I think you should do. What can we do to create this habit of reading? So you should start small. If you make yourself a challenge and try to read for 1 hour a day or 10 pages a day and see how longer does that takes. Or if you make a challenge to yourself and try to read a book a month, soon you will be reading a book a week, even a book in one day, in one sitting. That is the beginning for us to start a journey with books and experience all the qualities and all the effects that books provide to us. Now, I really hope that you guys will increase your reading habits and you will see how that changes your worldview, your empathy, and your critical thinking because of the amount of histories and experiences you get from books. Thank you so much for your attention.